History didn't lie to you about the Vikings by accident. It lied because the truth was too uncomfortable. When people imagine Vikings, they picture fearless warriors, burning villages, and endless violence. Movies and television turned them into legends defined only by brutality. But that image is incomplete, and in many ways, deliberately misleading. The Vikings were not just warriors. They were slave traders, political strategists, explorers, and masters of psychological terror. Long before Hollywood glorified them, the real Vikings built power through fear, control, and calculated violence. Once you understand who they truly were, you will never see them the same way again. Despite their reputation, most Vikings were not raiders. The majority were farmers working unforgiving northern land, craftsmen shaping iron and wood, and traders moving goods across rivers and seas. Their society depended far more on cooperation than constant warfare. Raiding was not their identity. It was a tool used when it brought wealth, influence, or fear. When it did not, they focused on trade and settlement instead. Europe remembered only the raids, not the daily lives behind them. Fear travels faster than truth, and terror is easier to remember than complexity. One of the darkest truths about Viking society is rarely discussed. The Vikings were deeply involved in the medieval slave trade. Men, women, and even children were captured during raids and transported across Europe, the Middle East, and Central Asia. These captives were sold, traded, or forced into labor. This was not random cruelty. It was organized business. Slavery funded Viking wealth, paid for ships, and supported expansion across continents. Without this hidden economy, the Viking Age may never have reached the scale it did. This uncomfortable truth is often ignored, because it challenges the heroic image many prefer to believe. Violence was introduced early in Viking life. Children were raised in a world where conflict was normal, not shocking. From a young age, they learned discipline, endurance, and the importance of loyalty to their community. Training began early. Long before adulthood, weapons, combat skills, and emotional control were part of daily life. Fear was not something to avoid, but something to understand and use. By the time Viking children became adults, war was already familiar. This upbringing created warriors who were psychologically prepared long before they ever entered battle. The Vikings understood something their enemies often did not. Fear could win battles before swords were drawn. Their sudden attacks, terrifying appearance, and brutal reputation caused panic across Europe. Villages often fled at the sound of Viking war horns. Many settlements were abandoned without resistance. The Vikings did not always need to fight. Terror alone was often enough. This psychological warfare made Viking raids highly effective. Their reputation became a weapon more powerful than steel, allowing small forces to control large regions through fear alone. Unlike most medieval societies, Viking women held real power. They could own land, initiate divorce, and manage wealth. Some even led households and controlled trade. Archaeological discoveries have revealed Viking graves containing weapons and armor that belonged to women, challenging long-held assumptions about gender roles. Strength in Viking society was not strictly defined by sex. Viking society was also not lawless. They had courts, assemblies, and legal systems. Power was debated, negotiated, and enforced through rules, not chaos. Religion shaped every part of Viking life. Their gods demanded strength, honor, and sacrifice. Rituals were performed to secure protection, victory, and survival. Ancient sources describe ceremonies involving animal sacrifice, and possibly even human sacrifice. These acts were not performed for pleasure, but as offerings to ensure divine favor. To the Vikings, survival depended not only on weapons and strategy, but on maintaining balance with the gods they believed controlled fate itself. Ironically, the people feared as brutal barbarians were among the cleanest in medieval Europe. Vikings bathed regularly, used grooming tools, and cared deeply about their appearance. Combs, razors, and personal care items have been found in Viking settlements. English monks even complained that Viking men were too well groomed and attractive. The image of filthy savages was created by enemies. In reality, Vikings valued cleanliness, presentation, and personal pride. Long before Christopher Columbus, Vikings reached North America. Archaeological evidence from Lonso Meadows confirms they arrived nearly 500 years earlier. Their ships were technological masterpieces, capable of crossing open oceans. Viking navigation, engineering, and shipbuilding were centuries ahead of their time. History did not deny this achievement because it was false. It ignored it because it did not fit the narrative that followed. Eventually, the world changed. European kingdoms organized. Armies adapted. Christianity spread across Scandinavia. The Viking Age did not end in sudden defeat but in transformation. Vikings settled, assimilated, and became part of the societies they once terrorized. They were not heroes. They were not monsters. They were human, and that is the truth history was never comfortable telling. Beyond war and exploration, Viking life was built on community. Most people lived in small settlements, surrounded by family, livestock, and farmland. Daily life was harsh, but it was also organized. Everyone had a role. Farmers worked the land. Craftsmen shaped tools and weapons. Elders passed down knowledge through stories and tradition. Survival depended on cooperation. Without community, no Viking could endure the northern climate for long. Trade was just as important as raiding. Vikings traveled vast distances, exchanging silver, furs, amber, and weapons. Their trade networks stretched from Scandinavia to the Middle East. Silver was power. It bought loyalty, funded ships, and strengthened alliances. Many Vikings became wealthy not through violence, but through negotiation and exchange. This side of Viking history is rarely shown, but it was essential to their success. As Europe changed, the Viking way of life began to shift. Raids became less profitable. Kingdoms grew stronger. Borders hardened. Gradually, Vikings chose settlement over conquest. They married into local populations, adopted new religions, and became part of emerging nations. The Viking Age did not collapse. It's slowly transformed. They were not heroes. They were not monsters. They were human. And that is the truth history was never comfortable telling.